recording. Live. So, Captain, if you would grace us with a log.
And is this directly after, or I fired a torpedo on a defensive planet, or we going a couple
Yes.
hours later?
It's a little bit. It's a few minutes afterward at most.
Starfleet Command's gonna love hearing about that one. And the start date.
There you go.
All right, Captain's log, start date a 52913 Mark 8. After very narrowly avoiding a catastrophe of the Prime Directive, my away team reports that they found a mysterious alien and console down underneath the planet of Kamutsa 3, where the native population and has been reduced down to tens of thousands of members and are currently nomadically roaming the surface. We also have indications that at the pirate faction known as the Scream of the Reach has taken an interest in this alien cult, and has made an excursion deep into Federation space. What the Scream of the Reach each knows is concerning, and also the origin of this alien device and what it has done to the Kamunsan and culture concerns me. But scientific curiosity has to be put aside for security considerations of having pirates roam this deep into Federation space. End log.
We cut to where we last left off, where the away team with Lieutenant Commander Tamara and Dr. Magnus were able to stun and subdue the pirates therein. And the device seemed to change colors and shift into a light shades of light blue and white, similar to the gate on Andon's Landing, illuminating the entire large space.
I'll start scanning in fascination.
Give me reason engineering, difficulty 2.
One threat.
Sure. Great start.
Xenotechnology.
Yes.
Rerolling the 0. Oh, there we go.
2 momentum gained. And Maggie, you'll probably want to track that since Tamara is multitasking a bit. Whoops. And what you scan is that the device seems to be in a constant state of flux. It doesn't seem to be it's in a certain shape, like it's in the shape of a massive computer console with various controls and interfaces, screens, but it seems to be almost like a liquid or or like a nebula formed into a solid shape. But what you're scanning, it looks like it's something that wouldn't normally be solid, but it seems to be holding that shape. You do detect what's probably some sort of processes, some sort of computing. But whatever it is, it's nothing it's not something Starfleet normally runs into.
Can I make out an interface that I can interact with?
Yes. And actually, as you kind of draw your attention toward what looks to be some sort of console, the keys change into a approximation of what Starfleet's UI is like. The rounded buttons, but it's not quite the same because it's not on a glass panel.
I look at that, and then I kind of shift my gaze to another part of the thing, and I look, and I'm trying to find a panel that would be typical among Romulans.
You see one starting to shape into a Romulan. Since your character would be very familiar with that style, you'd see one of the consoles. There's multiple ways to touch it, and it changes into a Romulan interface. And actually, you notice the screen. Your screen that went Starfleet's standard. The screen came up like an LCARS display, and then the one you looked over and thought Romulan computer, you saw the console show up that way, and you see the screen kind of show up as to an approximation of a Romulan display.
Being curious, I'm gonna look back towards the Elcars area, and I want to start thinking about how I would make the best bioneural interface so that when you touched it, you could directly connect your brain to the computational device. Hey, I have a talent called testing a theory. I'm following through.
Give me daring plus engineering difficulty 2. Because you're kind of picturing something that it doesn't quite form in your head, but you're theorizing a little.
Threat?
Sure.
Computers?
Yeah. Oh, there's your roll. So 3 momentum gained. You notice one of the panels shapes a bit, and you notice the keys fade away, and you see a place where you could almost look like where you put your hands to settle in like a crevice in the face of the panel. It kind of it leaves like an impression in itself. And from the screen, you notice that there seems to be some sort of goggles that one is will be able to pull up to their eyes. And from your theory, you've heard of a species that has an interface where they kind of biometrically link themselves, and it transmits through their body's senses. You kind of go into a sort of VR state. And that's what you're looking at. You've never seen one before, but you seem to be looking at an approximation of it.
This has some rather marvelous ability to adapt itself. And I'm gonna try to look into the thing and put my hands in the thing and see what happens.
Your hands sink into the panel. You can feel like a warmth across your entire hand, and you notice that the eyepiece automatically seems to extend out to your face to cover your eyes. And what are you looking to find out from this computer? Or what's at the top of mind, I guess might be a better way to put it.
I want to start looking through technical specifications. I want to know what it is and how it works.
For a momentum, I can just give that. I can give that to you without a roll.
Sure.
This device seems to be a rather advanced computer that it's part of a larger network of computers, and it's linked over a process you're not quite understanding. It seems like something to do with subspace or its equivalent for the species. Sort of like how the computers for Starfleet ships can be tied somewhat to the master computer all the way back on Earth. Like everyone in the fleet can kind of pull up the same database no matter where they are in the galaxy if they really want to. This kind of has something like that, but on a much faster scale with a lot less lag. And it doesn't seem to have any trouble understanding your language. It immediately knows what language you seem to be most comfortable with. And it seems to be this computer seems to give the impression that it's a observation or listening post type area or a sensor area. It's not something that doesn't seem to be any device attached to it other than this thing's function is to be an information kiosk of some kind or a sensing area.
Can I try to see the next closest machine in that's connected to this one? Like if it's on a network, find the closest other device.
Oh, I didn't need that. Yeah. One moment. Just doing some. No, shoot. You're here at Simutsa. Next nearest one's here.
Do I recognize what that is?
That's a star system within the Grazer sector.
Can I log in and take a look around?
You get the impression that the system is aware there's a console, there's another device there, but it doesn't seem to be able to connect with it. It actually guesses, without you even asking it, that there must be something. Either the device is damaged or it's been locked out. It's been locked down for some reason. But it presumes damage rather than lockdown, since that's not common for these machines.
I'll step away from the device. You should take a look at this, Commander. It is rather fascinating. It's not quite describable. It is definitely some kind of computational device. Very adaptive. And it seems to be linked to a network. I'd need more research to tell more, though.
Fascinating. She pulls out her tricorder. I want to do like some kind of compare the wavelength, the energy signature between the one that's found on Andon's Landing and this device to see if there's some sort of a link.
It appears that they do seem to share the same energy signature, as in they're probably made from this or similar energy signature, not same, indicating that they're probably made by the same species or culture, or based on the same technological foundation. But this seems to have a different signature. It has a different purpose than the gate does. And actually, you don't feel any tingles in the back of your head psychically or anything like that, and you notice none of the crew are acting weird around it. This thing seems a lot more passive than the gate is.
She's gonna place her hands on the control panel.
There seems to be 3 control panels. Which one are you placing it on? Which
Um,
interface are you using?
The Federation one.
Okay.
Starfleet design. She's gonna input the coordinates for Andon's Landing.
Coordinates recognized.
Is she able to? I want maybe try to gain control of the anomaly through this interface.
The readout tells you that absolute control is not possible. This is the aperture through which all reality is seen. And then it goes on at length. It almost seems like a philosophical text that it starts reading off that starts listing on the screen about a concept of reality that's you kind of get. It's a bit more mystical than scientific, but it almost makes sense. But it's using references to things that you don't quite understand.
She's gonna go through the list, see if there's a control interface at Andon's Landing.
Control interface requires the operator to be of sufficient mental control and stamina to withstand the reality shown before them and to keep themselves within the center of the storm.
Input. So I'm reasoning that it pretty much requires more of a. It's all mental. Essentially, you become the operator when you're down there.
Yes, it even indicates that the operator requires a certain level of sentience. So a creature like a animal or livestock isn't of sufficient sapience to control it, and it's somewhat aware not to do that. But if someone's of sufficient sapience, they can interact with it. Although it does caution that those who do not have sufficient control over their mental faculties could in fact be endangered, and it advises to keep such persons away from such a device. Under directive, and it lists off a set of numbers and letters that don't mean a whole lot to you because it's referencing a codex that you don't know. But you get the feeling it's almost like a prime directive equivalent. It's like reading between the lines. That's kind of what they're getting at. It's not quite exactly the same, but
She's gonna do a search to see if there's any more gateways like Andon's Landing.
There is. It lists There are 134 gates across the galaxy.
Okay.
There used to be more, but they have been damaged or decommissioned for various reasons.
List known gateways and nearby sectors.
Listing. Too big. Way too big. There are 3 gates in this region of space that are active.
Okay. She's gonna attempt to download that information to her tricorder.
The tricorder is informed that it is being uploaded to by unknown device.
Very intuitive.
And you get the data. Yeah, it seems to be a clean file. It's proper file format, proper encoding. The tricorder has no problem retaining the data, even though it doesn't know what it's talking to. It recognizes a fellow Elkar's device, but you allow it, so it downloads it.
Okay. Is there a mechanism to hide? Or I don't want to deactivate it completely. Like a stealth mode for the
Hide
console?
itself?
Yeah.
You see in bold letters, information is all appear on the screen. And then it goes back to the regular display. Almost like that's the name of a directive. It doesn't respond to any attempt to deactivate itself or power down.
Very intriguing, Doctor. Appears we have our work cut out for us.
Well, I wouldn't mind having it moved to my lab.
I don't
Seem to have all sorts of computational devices in my lab these days.
She's gonna input, can the device be moved?
It gives indications and various readouts. Some of the science is a little weird, but you get the gist that this thing's telling you that the material it's made of is contained in a very specific way, and to move it risks a breach of containment, and it might result in that might result in destruction of the device. And the only way that it would allow that risk is if you were a appropriately adjudicated operator and technician. And it seems to indicate that you are a lay operator. with guest privileges. Sort of like the same you'd give to a civilian who's walking around on a starship.
It would appear that we cannot move the device, Doctor. We'll have to find other means to secure it.
Well, let me see if I can give it a go there. And I want to attempt to use the neural connection device and see if I can't like shut it down.
Give me insight plus science. Difficulty 2. 1. It's gotten to know you.
Computers?
Yes.
Oh.
You try and you get this very fuzzy wuzzy answer back, this incomplete, almost philosophical answer. It effectively is telling you no. You're just not sure why, or at least if you feel like you should know why, but you don't. At most, you have a headache after a while of just staring at feeling this philosophical revelation that makes no sense to you.
Oh, you definitely seem to have been right about it not being movable.
Couldn't mask its presence by placing several sensor disruption devices as well as a holographic wall at the entrance to the cave.
Alert, alert. Do you wish to continue your distress call through your beacon?
No.
Discontinuing.
State the nature of the distress call. Why was it activated?
The distress call was indicated due to invasion of local persons. Distress call indicated by lay operator, and it gives a name, at this timestamp. And this timestamp kind of changes for a second before your eyes. Like I gave something else, and then it changed into a Federation standard, like a star date and relevant time number. Despite the persons being neutralized, the distress call was kept on alert until reinforcements arrived.
Sarah, please secure the prisoners and have them beam back to the ship.
Yes, Lieutenant Commander. Nix, I could use your help. Sure, yeah. And they start bundling them up and carrying them down. Eventually, they're out of the chamber. It's just you two.
Away team to Artemis.
Artemis here.
Captain, there appears to be a strange alien device that's linked to what we presume to the gateways at Andon's Landing, as well as 134 of them within the galaxy.
Repeat that? 134 other gateways?
That is correct.
Uh, can the alien device be moved or secured somehow?
No, it cannot. The device has several contaminants within inside of it that appear to be of volatile nature, and we do not have access to that. For the most part, that we can tell is the device is a highly advanced artificial intelligence.
You've been able to interface with it?
Correct. As well as Dr. Magnus.
And as you continue to brief each other, we cut to a different problem occurring in your sector. Lieutenant Thala.
Captain. Is my voice sounding better?
Sounds better, but you're a lot quieter.
I got it further. How about this?
Yes, much better.
Excellent.
Okay. I might have to turn the volume up on the mic so I don't have to hold it right up next to my mouth. But
Yeah.
This is a better quality mic. I'm using the same headphones, but a separate mic. So, go ahead. I just want to make sure it sounded okay.
You're currently aboard the USS Lethbridge en route to Andon's Landing, and actually, you just recently you were told to your ship was diverted its course to meet up with the Artemis, which seems to be on a patrol of the sector. And for the time being, since you're the senior most officer who is of security training on this transport, because it's a Sydney class vessel, it's usually the sort that it on board are yourself and a variety of personnel, colonists, some Starfleet personnel, some Federation dignitaries who are going to Andon's Landing, but they're diverting because you have orders to meet up with the Artemis. But they figure, since you're the best security guy here, there's no sense you just sitting in the back waiting for you to get there. They put you up at the bridge to help them out a bit.
Sure. Always happy to serve. Is this any better? I turned the volume up some.
It's good for me.
Yep, sounds good.
And on sensors, you notice following after the Lethbridge at about long range, a bunch of a rather large wing of what appear to be shuttle craft-sized craft are following after you.
I don't recognize what style.
What I'll ask you for is a Reason Con roll.
Okay.
Difficulty 2. And the ship's going to help you with this.
Okay, how do I do that?
Okay, so
I've got my character sheet open and everything. I don't know if I have to use that or something else.
you do. So on your character sheet, you're going to want to click Reason and Con on your.
I clicked them both. I don't know if it did anything.
Yeah, you want them to be highlighted like this, so you know that you got them both.
Do I hold down Alt or something to highlight too?
No, you just click it once.
Yep, just
Oh,
click it.
because it's switching from one to the other. It's not letting me highlight both of them.
Oh, you click Reason once, and then you click Con once.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
what I did.
So now you're going to want to look at your focuses to see if any of them apply to what you're trying to do.
Oh. No, probably not.
Okay. We'll leave that at no. Although, if you don't think so, you don't bring it up. But sometimes you can ask, like, is there any of my focuses that apply? Or sometimes wild guess. Sometimes people will say, does this work? And sometimes the GM's cool with it. Sometimes
I
they're
mean,
not.
the closest things I could possibly see would be combat tactics, if that applies to ship combat, maybe. And the only other one, and that's way too much of a stretch, shipboard tactical systems. I can't tell what kind of tactical systems they have from looking at the screen. So
So we'll leave the focus no for now. But it's sometimes at a stretch the GM might give you a break. Sometimes they don't.
is my voice coming through on Roll20 too?
I don't know. I've muted that side out.
I need to make sure. Yeah, I've got it broadcasting for some reason. Shit, that's weird.
Now you got me checking. Okay, good. I'm not doing it.
I put video or broadcast to others, nothing disable. I don't know why it's still. When I talk, I can see the blue bar under my avatar, like it's picking it up on Roll20, and I don't want it to echo through somebody else's system or something.
You have to hit reconnect for it to save the setting change.
Oh, that's right. Okay. I think it did it. All right, sorry about that.
No, it's fine. So what you're looking at is a difficulty 2 task, which means that on the D20s, it would be, for right now, you would need to roll something 11 or lower on each of the dice you're rolling. This will automatically roll it for you. So right now, you're only rolling 2 D20.
Okay.
Now you can buy more dice, either through momentum or threat. Usually you want to use momentum, because a threat is my currency for making things worse or harder. Momentum is what you guys generate when you not only hit a task, but you nail it. Like you do more than you needed.
Okay.
And we can only have a cap of 6, so since we have 4, I'm generally okay with you using one. The momentum is all of our currency, so we kind of ask, hey, I'm gonna try using this.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I'm totally cool with one momentum on this task.
Okay, well, I'll take your word just so that I understand the system better, so I can ask things in the future. So you're saying each die is potential success. You may need a certain number of successes. Is that how
Yep.
it works?
Right.
Yep. So the more die you roll, the more opportunity you have to get successes.
So just to have a feel for it, on an average task, your typical average task, how many successes does that usually require?
Usually 2. 2 or 1 is your everyday roll. Once it gets beyond that, you're reaching into harder and harder tasks, and it usually goes up to 5. It almost never goes beyond 5 for any one roll.
Well, if he's suggesting that I use one, I guess I will. Do I have to click the token, the 4, to use it, or?
You just say aloud that you want to use one, because usually one of us keeps track of the tokens, and he'll.
Okay, I don't have to take one away. All right.
Yeah, no.
Just take it to 3d20.
Yep, and that'll make that'll make you roll more dice, so you're.
So you can do it that way. The other thing you can do is on the dice roller part on the character sheet, next to task roll.
Oh yes, I see it.
You would click, since you're rolling 3d20, you'd click 3. And then you would click the com badge icon next to 1, and you'll see it pop up the way that Winchester back there was getting it.
Okay. Well, it looks like I had at least 2 successes anyway. If I needed 11 or below.
Actually, you got 3, because in Star Trek Adventures, 1 is a critical success.
So it gets you 2 successes instead of just 1.
Cool.
And your focus is, if you have a focus, your crit range goes from 1 to whatever you have in the discipline you used.
Okay.
So it can go from 1 up to 5 if you have a discipline of 5. But I think your highest is 4. So if you have a focus in hand to hand and you're using security to fight somebody, and you select focus used yes, your crit range goes from 1 to 4.
Okay.
So you get the roll, you've succeeded, and the ship will help you. Whenever you're doing a ship task, sometimes the ship will assist. Doesn't always, but once in a while, it actually is useful and helps you. Doop. Doop. And it actually gave you one more.
Cool. So we're up to 5 momentum.
Okay, so should I roll one more die or 2 more dice? I mean.
Oh no, you're good. That just
okay.
increased the momentum pool.
Oh, it generated. Okay.
Yeah, it
Yes.
generated in momentum. If you get any hits, any successes beyond on your target, you gain that as momentum, and you put that in a pool, and we can use it later.
So if you need 2 successes and you get 4, that's 2 momentum that you put in the pool.
Correct.
Okay.
The craft that you detect seem to be small, no bigger than shuttles, and they seem to be a pirate small craft. According to the computer, they're affiliated with the pirate band known as the Scream of the Reach. They have weapons armed and shields up. They are armed with disruptor banks and photon torpedoes.
I don't know am I the only one noticing this is happening at this?
You seem to be the first one. Everyone else is occupied talking among themselves. You're the guy at tactical.
Okay, I'm having a blank. What's the term that you would use? Say to battle stations or red alert or?
Both of those would work. Battle stations or red alert.
Yeah, well, you know what? I'll double down. I'll say red alert to battle stations. That way, there's no confusion.
The minute you call that out, everyone kind of looks up and the lights go red. Everyone starts getting ready to fight, and the captain of the Lethbridge looks over. What is it, Lieutenant? What do you see?
Pirate ships, and I indicate the location.
All right, we're gonna prepare to warp here. I want you to take a shot at one of them and see if you can get them to back off. That's way too many ships for us to deal with.
So what do I have to roll for that?
Now you can either be firing phasers or torpedoes. The captain unwisely just gave you a blank check. Normally captains tell you what they want you to shoot, but in this case, you can either fire phasers or torpedo. Actually, you can't fire torpedoes on the left bridge. That's why I didn't specify. Never mind.
Okay.
Because this thing doesn't have torpedoes.
But-
torpedoes?
In the future, the rule of thumb is torpedoes when shields are down, phasers when shields are up.
True.
Okay.
So the shot to hit them is a control security roll. Difficulty. Now phasers usually most phasers have a range of about medium. On this display here, that the adjacent hexes that I have highlighted there, those are close range, and the ones further out are medium, and then further on is usually long and extreme. If you're ever unsure what range something is, just ask. I'll let you know. This
Okay.
is more the highlight's more for my sake, so I don't forget where everything is.
Sure.
So normally it'd be difficulty 2 if they were in medium range. Because they're further out to long, the difficulty goes up by 1, so you need 3 successes to hit any of them.
Okay. And what did you say I was using again?
Control plus security.
Okay. So one is a discipline and one is a attribute.
Correct.
Yep,
So
rolls are
security
always set up like that.
Oh, that's why I couldn't select 2 of them, because there was a double or something I was selecting in the same. Because you said reason and control; those were both attributes.
That's
Yep,
called the GM screwing up.
That's why I
every
couldn't
roll-
get them both to highlight earlier.
Yep, every roll we use an attribute and a discipline.
That simplifies things. Okay, so after I click on those 2, then what?
Now you check to see what focus you think applies for this task.
Right. Does combat tactics apply to hand-to-hand, or does that apply to ship to ship?
I would say combat tactics would apply to if you were trying to make a plan or you're trying to do a specific, you're trying to formulate a strategy or guess what their strategy is.
Oh, okay. All
In
right.
this case, I would probably give you shipboard tactical systems because that's what you're using to take shots at them.
Okay. All right. Well,
So
then
you
I
do have-
will use that as a focus.
So you have focus yes. Right now, by default, it highlights no, so you just click that.
All right.
And normally, all rolls, unless you spend any resources, like momentum or threat, what have you, you only roll 2 dice. So do you want to spend some momentum for more dice, or you want to give me threat for more dice? In your case, because you have bold security, if you give me at least 1 threat for a die, you get to re-roll 1 of the dice if it comes up bad.
Okay.
But the trade-off is I get a threat, which it's only 1 threat, might not be a big deal. But if you start giving me like 5 or so die threat, you're like, I better make sure that's worth it to bother shooting that, giving
Well-
the GM that much resources.
Well, I need 3 to hit anyway, so I'm gonna need an extra die, regardless. Unless I get a critical, which I don't want to count on that. But the critical range, because I'm using security, is 1 through 4.
Right.
Well, can you mix them?
You can. You
Yes.
could get. Yep.
I was gonna say I generated a couple of the momentums, so maybe I use 1 momentum and 1 threat.
If you wanted to buy 2 dice, it's 1 momentum or threat to buy 1 die normally, and 2 dice for the next one and 3 for the 5th one. So if you were mixing, you could be like 1 momentum and 2 threat, or 1 threat, 2 momentum to buy 2 dice to get you up to 4.
Oh, I
dice.
thought. Okay, I thought the threat just lets you re-roll 1.
It does, but
It still stacks for the cost, basically.
Yeah.
Yes.
The only reason you were looking at threat, in your case especially, is because you have bolt security. The talent gives you the reroll.
Oh, okay. So I'm gonna get that anyway.
If you spend threat, give threat.
Okay. Yeah, it's gonna take me. That's one part I'm gonna have to wrap my brain around.
It gets better the more you play. It is a little.
I mean, so far I've understood. That's the only thing that's kind of making me a little confused. I guess I'll just go ahead and. Darn, I don't want to use 3. Well, I've got 2 by default now, so I know I need at least 1 more, and I need 3 successes, so it's going to be tough. But I guess I'll just spend 1 momentum, taking me up to 3 dice. So put the task roll on 3.
Right.
Complication stays where it is.
Yes.
All right, here we go.
And thankfully, the ship helps you with it. It'll be weapons plus security.
Wow.
Oh, you hit.
What does the number 100 mean there?
Oh, that's that's how many successes each of your D20 gave you. So your first
So,
D20 gave you
so
1
all
success, and
3
the other
of-
one.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
All
It's,
three
it's
you
not
roll.
100, it's 100.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I'm like, how'd I get 100 out of 320s?
Like, I get way more momentum than that. GM's cheating me. No.
So-
But you
So I only rolled 1 success out of the 3.
right.
He has untapped
That's
potential
crappy.
too.
Oh, yep. So, thank you for the reminder. I always forget that. So, what you want to do, because anytime you spend, I gotta double check the rule on untapped potential. I think it's anytime you spend momentum or threat, it comes up. When you buy dice, I think it comes up. Hold on. There we go. Whenever you succeed at a task, we bought 1 or more additional dice with momentum or threat. Okay, cool. So it does apply. So on your sheet, because you bought dice at all, and you rolled, and do you have to succeed? You succeeded, yes. So what you want to do is go to the challenge dice thing and change it to 1.
Okay. Task.
The challenge dice.
The
Yeah.
challenge dice. Change
Yes.
that to 1. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
And when you change to 1, make sure to hit enter, because otherwise the sheet gets weird.
Oh, all right. I just clicked off of it, so I'll click back on it and hit enter.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
And then click the combat next to it. Okay. So you don't get any momentum, but I don't get any threat either.
Oh, okay. Well,
That's your cool thing for being a young officer. You can generate momentum just because you succeeded, or give yourself momentum and me threat. That's the trade-off.
mm,
But you hit them. Oh no.
Did you break one?
Um.
Let me pull up the stats for the
Nothing.
left bridge.
So one of the fighters,
Pop goes the weasel.
you shoot it, and its shields pop immediately, and it starts tumbling in space as it's disabled.
okay.
Isn't that 2 breaches?
Oh yeah, it explodes right away. You're right.
Oh.
It's scale 1. It doesn't take much to blow these things up.
Yeah, I know, but when I got 1 success and I thought I needed 3, I was like, okay, well, I just embarrassed myself.
Yeah, no.
Where'd they get this guy? He's gonna be the chief of security?
After that shot, the captain orders the Lethbridge to warp away. Good shooting, Lieutenant.
Thank you, Captain.
Ops put out a general distress call. Hopefully the Artemis is close enough they can help us. Aye, sir. And the ships continue the chase, as they seem rather upset with you. And they all start shooting at the Lethbridge, whittling away at the shields. We cut back to our friends in orbit of the Simutsa, with the prisoners aboard and the away team. I don't know if are you guys still on the surface at this point, or would you have gone up to the ship after a slight time jump, like maybe say half hour or an hour at most?
I'm headed to the ship. I don't have anything left on the planet to take care of.
Would like to try and secure the entranceway.
Sure. You can spend 2 momentum to have the advantage that it's hidden, because you have through holograms and collapsing tunnels and what have you, you can secure fairly well. Or you can roll for it if you want to save your momentum.
I mean, I'll roll for it. What's the roll before I?
It's going to be control security. I'd say difficulty 1, because there's no one watching you do this right now. You don't have to worry about other people sensing you do it.
I mean, I'm rolling a 12. I'll go for it. I'm gonna spend 1 momentum though. Let's maybe I can get it back.
Yeah, you get yourself 2 momentum, and you're able to secure the console in the caverns. I'll also note during your while you secured it, you notice that there's some supplies that were hiding there as well,
Okay.
like backup parts, things they stole in the region, that sort of thing.
I also want to deactivate that beacon. down there.
You're able to deactivate that since Magnus is you're able to get it shut down fairly easily.
Okay. Yeah, we should be at max momentum, I think. Yeah, that's it. Oh, shoot. Could I be like a sensor warning detection device there? Just to make sure the ship's notified.
You could launch a probe or something into orbit, yeah.
Okay.
Or even tell the or instruct the listening post to put out a different warning now, because the listening post is already warning people off to not come here anyway, because it's a protected world.
Either or, doesn't matter.
Okay. By this point, Manus and Tamira are meet up with the captain on the bridge, and at this point, you've all been, unless you guys made a special effort to hide information, I imagine you briefed him on what happened on the surface.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so we definitely need to make efforts. If we can't transport or the alien console, we're gonna have to secure it both from the Scream and from the native population. I also would like.
I've already placed
Oh.
a holographic field in front of the cave entrance to make it seem
Is there
the
any way
cave
we can,
whole.
in place of Federation and proximity beacon in next to it, so we
It's
can
already
rely on our
been
own
done.
technology and not it telling us that anyone's gone nearby?
That was the whole point with the listening post.
Okay.
Yeah.
Were you able to tell how long that console's been there? I'm kind of wondering if the presence of this alien technology has anything to do with the Comantian and weird culture or in the text scavenging thing they have going on.
That is unclear whether or not there's a link to the natives and this technology. Further study is required, Captain. However, this device is very ancient, like the one found, like the gateway found on Andon's Landing. Whoever built this and the gateways were a very old race.
Commander, we're getting a distress call from the Lethbridge. They're under attack by the Scream of the Reach.
On screen. Or is it audio only?
You see a staticky picture of what appears to be a commander himself aboard a much more cramped bridge than yours.
This is Commander Ray of the Artemis. Yes, come in.
I'm Commander Alec Toten of the Lethbridge. We're being chased by some pirates, and we're keeping some distance of them, but we're starting to lose our shields here. We need help as soon as possible.
I turn to Commander Tamira. Has everything been secured from the away team?
Yes, all prisoners have been transferred aboard the Artemis, and the site location is secure for now.
We're on our way. Commander. Helm. What's an ETA towards the left bridge at maximum warp?
Sir, at maximum warp, we won't get to them for 14 hours. They're quite some distance away from us. Assuming they're coming at the same speed, the same way, we might intercept them 12, maybe 10. With the standard speed of the ship, anyway.
Can you hold on for that long, Commander?
And you notice that the interference gets worse, the static gets worse and worse, and then it cuts out.
Make it happen. Set course for the left bridge, maximum warp.
And the ship very quickly pivots and starts warping towards the left bridge.
And there's nothing left at Andon's landing that could help intercept. We're the only ship in the sector.
Oops. So here's the left bridge.
So they were on a intercept course with us.
Yeah.
Just they were still a ways away. And they're in the middle of deep space.
Yes.
So no terrain features or anything they can do to help.
For 2 momentum, they might.
We have 2 momentum and give him some deep space anomaly they can hide in. Buy some time.
Aboard the left bridge, Thala, you notice that on sensors, as you're fleeing away from the ships, you are, because of your skills, you actually are you're occasionally hitting one and dropping it out of the fight, but there's so many of them, it's hard to really, and they seem to have spread out in such a way that it's hard to do a sweeping shot with the phaser to hit multiple at one time.
Understood.
And how about you give me a reason plus science difficulty of 1 roll?
All right. Reason and so is that still 2 dice or 1?
It's normally 2 unless you spend
Okay.
for more.
Okay, so 2 is the default. All right.
You scan around and you do see what appears to be a nebula nearby, but you're not sure if it would hide you at all from the fighters, because they seem to be rather close to you, and it's hard to tell if you have enough distance that they'll lose you in the cloud.
Is there someone on the bridge that I would know that might know that kind of thing?
Yeah, the science officer at a different console might know, or the ops officer.
Do I know their names, or does it matter?
You can say Lieutenant, Ensign.
Okay, Lieutenant, whoever, science officer. Do you think that nebula might be able to hide us in any way?
They think about it and they start scanning the nebula that you noticed. I believe so, Lieutenant. Though we are at some risk of the shields being overwhelmed once we go in there.
And I'm pretty convinced that if we keep getting hit by these other ships, like, we're not gonna make it. I'm asking.
Yeah, when you look at it, and actually, give me a insight plus security difficulty 1 roll.
Oh, I've got challenge dice still on here. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Well, it's a little better.
Generate yourself 1 momentum. The city, in theory, could hold out if there was less of them. Because the Lethbridge itself was actually built to be a troop transport with a blade of armor and improved hull integrity, so it actually has pretty good resistance. They're not doing a whole ton of damage. They're doing little taps at the shield one at a time, as opposed to just wiping it out.
But we have 14 hours before we're going to get to where we're going.
Exactly.
Or if we meet at the middle, 7 hours.
Right.
So do I think we can put up with 7 to 14 more hours of mosquito bites?
With the crew that you have, it's a toss-up. These guys are troop transport guys. Troop transports aren't used to being attacked like this, especially in safe space. If you were on like the Artemis or something bigger, maybe you'd hold out better.
Oh boy, well, I don't know what the chances are as far as affecting us by going into the nebula, so... And we don't even know if that'll even be able to hide us. So we're taking unknown risk for something that might not even work. I'm just going to give to hope that we get some help before we get torn up and just continue.
Give me present security difficulty 2 as you advise the captain best to avoid too much damage from the fighters while you're still doing damage back to them.
Difficulty 2 would be complication 2, or...
No, it's just difficulty 2.
That's how many successes?
Yes.
Okay. Huh.
Oops, I keep doing that. So you're able to advise the captain. He almost wants to jump into the nebula, but from your advice, he is able to come to grips with maybe this is our best chance. And you manage to take out a few fighters on the way. Artemis.
Yes, sir.
You notice the Lethbridge isn't maneuvering into the nebula that you at long range sensors. They seem to be taking out some of the at extreme range. You can barely see the interference that's being given off by the Scream of the Reach fighters is lessening, indicating they're probably destroying some of the fighters.
Okay. Dr. Magnus. Yes. Do we have a working prototype of our anti-scream probe? Did I just call on someone who was AFK?
No, I was trying to think. I don't think so. I think because it was used like a torpedo, and I'm pretty sure you shot the one I made. So I'd have to build another one. We would have to, for me to do something permanent, we would have had to stop in space for a long time so I could build it. But GM, how long do I think it would take me to build one? Oh, well, yeah. Then Based on my calculations, I could probably make one in a few hours.
Well, let's get on it. We're gonna need another one here.
Oh, this time I could try increasing that. And then he's gonna walk away, and as you can hear him thinking and talking about adding all kinds of new cool features.
Commander Smira, analysis? Recommendations?
Increase speed as fast as we can go, Captain. Perhaps using our emergency warp factor.
Do we? How much time would that shave off versus as how much risk would that be for our ship?
Well, what you're looking at would be a.
Also, is our power reset to?
Oh
default?
yeah, it'd be reset by now.
Everything's reset. Okay.
And I'm actually gonna do this.
Hooray! Risk analysis.
It would be a daring engineering roll, difficulty 3, to configure to start burning the candle from both ends, as it were, using your emergency warp speed, which is way beyond your maximum, and it's not good for the engine, but it'll get you there quicker, and it's significant. It'll shave off quite a few hours.
Okay, so we're looking at right now we're at 6 hours, and if we go to emergency warp, we're looking at 2.
2, 3,
2,
depending
3.
if the Lethbridge diverts again, or if it ever diverts.
That might be worth it, but unfortunately, my engineer is already busy with something else. Or I do have supporting characters.
Could use Reika.
Yep, this is definitely a Reika roll. Okay, we'll activate that cruise new support. Reika, I want you down in engineering and give it all she's got. And then some.
I don't know if we gave her an upgrade last week. Thinking for this week, out of focus. Warp field dynamics. I spelled that right. Will you take warp field dynamics? GM.
I will, yeah.
It's difficulty 3.
Go ahead.
Is this assisted by the ship at all? Any?
Yeah, I'll say engines engineering.
Darn, not computers.
Or con.
Take a threat, spending 2 momentum for 2 extra dice.
Go Artemis.
Oh, we did.
That's a different roll.
How much power do we use for this?
Well, right now you've shaved down the time. If you're willing to use up half of your current power, you can be there in the next combat round. Basically, you're burning all your power and turning off and redirecting all your power into just going fast.
That is what the ship's designed for. Power is used for, or phaser shots, regenerating shields,
Transporting.
transports. No, because I need to do a mass transport if the left bridge isn't gonna hold together.
And I will let the improved warp drive kick in for that. So if so, from right now, if you lose 5, you could roll 5 challenge dice, and you might keep some of it because you do have that talent.
I do have that talent. And yeah, that does change things. Okay, let's try it. It's going down to 5, and we're gonna roll 5 challenge dice. I said 5.
Well, we get 2 of it back. So 2 back.
Got it.
As I'm basically doing to fly her apart then.
Maps. So I need you to be over here. No, over here. Oh, and you're probably at red alert too.
Oh yeah, totally.
I won't hold that over your head.
I would assume going into a combat situation would be at red alert. If not
Right,
higher.
So now we're going to be in regular combat. I kind of narratively sped things to get you guys to meet and have a quick little tutorial. But now I might actually kill Thala because you're in a Sydney class. But don't worry, if you die, it's their fault, mine.
I've died before in these games.
I've done worse.
You have. So the way this works is that you guys have good guys have a turn. It's weird compared to like D&D if you're used to that system there, Thala. It's good guys have a one of the good guys act, then one of the bad guys acts. One of the good guys acts, one of the bad guys acts. It bounces back and forth that way until one side runs out of people that acts. If the other side has more people, they keep going until everyone gets to take a turn.
And then it rolls
Okay.
back around.
So among the 4 of you,
But if you act, then you have to wait for the rest of us in a round to act before you can act again.
Yeah, it's like a stand. Yeah, everybody goes.
Everyone gets a turn.
So in that spirit, I'll have you guys go first. So one of you 4 act. Thala, basically you're in effect you're in control of the Lethbridge and its actions. Mainly because you're giving advice to people. You're the only person who's used to being shot at, and they're not. Like you're actually trained in what to do. These guys are more. We know how to like navigate storms and stuff, not deal with fighters chasing us. We usually have a ship like the Artemis helping, not having to fight them on our own.
Understood. So you say I'm just acting them?
Say again.
So you said I'm spending my time directing them?
Yeah, you can either do something. Your character can either do something himself, or he can in effect tell someone else on the ship, "Hey, I think you should move the ship," or "I think you should fix the shields," or something like that.
Okay, well I have no idea what needs to be fixed or anything else.
Nothing at this point, I don't think.
Okay.
Have they taken a hit?
Probably a bunch of them that we didn't really play out, but
We'll say they lost at least 9 shields. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
out of how many?
They've lost 9 out of 15.
Okay. Yeah, that's not great.
And so far, they haven't been breached because they have a blade of armor and improved hull integrity. They can take a beating.
Well, then I'm going to try to have somebody fix some of the shields that have dropped.
So, do you want to try to fix? Do you guys want to try to have Thala and get the Lethbridge to fix some of the shields first, or do you guys want to try to get the Artemis closer?
I was gonna recommend we take the initiative. We kind of have a plan.
Okay.
Yeah, we developed a weapon that might help here.
Okay, so we appear in the system. We warp in.
Yep, you're basically at effectively extreme range to all targets. You basically just you're warping in the same direction they're coming in, and everyone's starting to slow way down now that everyone's getting ready.
Okay.
And I'll say for that you guys, the Lethbridge and the Artemis can talk to each other since you're so close. You're in the same sector
Okay.
of space that the screamer isn't deafening you, but it's not.
It's not.
If you want to send any complicated information, you'd have a roll, but just basic communication you can kind of get back and forth.
All right, we're discussing tactics behind the background. I wouldn't have enough time to give an order and open up communications, would I? That'd be two separate actions.
Yes.
Okay.
Open communications with whom?
With the scream, basically, a hey, stop that, bad boy.
If all you're telling them is if you're just talking to them, then it doesn't cost you anything. But if you're trying to get them, if you're trying to diffuse the tension or get them to change their minds, that's a task roll. And I'll take an action.
Okay, so anything that requires a task roll
Yeah.
would be considered action. Okay. In that case, we're gonna do a Picard maneuver. We're gonna do a warp jump in and jump right in at J26. I'm gonna give the command and to do that with the plan of action that we're gonna get in between the Lethbridge and the scream really quickly. Need to give the Lethbridge time to recover their shields and us draw the fire for a moment.
Can you get a supporting character sheet for that con officer we need to make?
Do. Add character.
Thank you, Tamara.
Do. Works better if I let you see the character. There you go.
Yeah, we're changing that name.
You have to give us privileges.
There you go.
Which, crap. I'm gonna assume that its control is. Oh well, have to make the character sheet. Crap.
If are you actually doing the? Are you just warping real close? Or are you actually doing the Picard maneuver where you have like two ships present at the same time?
I'm actually just trying to get in really close. If we can get the Picard maneuver to pull off without,
Well, we want the
Picard maneuver.
We kind of want to use a task roll for this because we
Yeah.
can generate because it's technically it should be depending on what the GM says here. It should be a difficulty 0 to do the warp jump.
But generally, yeah, our main purpose was just to get between the scream and the Lethbridge. We don't actually need a warp shadow.
Yeah. So if that's all you're doing, it's a difficulty 0. That's why I want to clarify because that changed the difficulty of the roll.
I have the sheet made.
Okay.
So some lonely human ensign that's unnamed. I need a quick third focus. I have helm operations, hand phasers. Um,
Helm Opsenberg.
I'll come with the third focus here in a second. Or
Sure.
minute. That way I don't keep dead air. Controls 10, 9 fitness, 7, 8. It's no. So focus. Difficulty 0. I believe this is also you're gonna use some power. I don't know off the top of my head the calculation for that.
It'll cost you 4 power to get there.
Okay.
Well, we have improved.
We have improved warp reactor, so
Yeah, chance we might get that back. Just rolling raw. So yeah.
Okay. So 2 momentum gained. Keep 2 of
And-
your power.
so
As the Artemis warps and is in medium range of at least 4 of the.
and
Wow.
could this fire our plan of action with me making this plan and to cover for the left bridge and allow them some extra time to get out of here?
Plan of action.
You had to do the direct.
With
Wait.
plan of action, you would have had to
Okay.
create an advantage ahead of time.
Okay.
Which actually, with looking back on it, if you spent like say 2 momentum to create the advantage on the spot or determination, that would have made that roll easier. But I don't know if you want to do that since you won't really get that much momentum back. But yeah, for plan action to fire, you have to create an advantage, and that usually requires you to do a task roll or a spend of at least 2 momentum or a determination.
Okay. I'll keep that in mind.
Mhm.
Trying to abuse it as hard as I can.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's my turn.
Turn goes back to them, unless you guys spend a way to keep the initiative or quick action.
Wait, would I be able to assist with President's commands?
You could have directed.
Yeah, I could have directed that.
You already had me on the shield. Oh, I'm sorry.
Do you have crisis management?
I don't think so.
I wouldn't direct.
He-
I wouldn't use your direct for that. Because you only
Okay.
get it once.
Not using
Once per
direct.
scene.
Yeah, once per scene. We could keep the initiative. I don't think we're gonna be able to do area though.
Yeah, they're all spread out as if they've learned their lesson to not be so grouped up.
The GM learned his lesson.
Yeah, it'll cost you 2 momentum to keep the initiative.
We should. We have the device.
Keep the initiative, use the device.
I would say yes.
That's what
we
you're
would
doing?
I would say yes. We would want to try to keep the initiative.
Okay. So who's using the device? Because Ray's acted.
I'll shoot it.
That'd be Magnus.
I'm not sure. control secure. Jeez. Control engineering difficulty 1, assisted by the ship's weapons plus engineering.
Can I use electroplasma power systems?
Yes, given what you did to the probe.
Take a threat.
Sure.
Rerolling the comp.
Is your control the same as your daring?
1 higher.
Okay.
So that would actually be that second 0 would have been a 1. Because that would have been a 16. 5 and an 11.
It's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 4. Okay. Here, 6 momentum. So you fire off for one of the probes. Do you direct it to go near any of the fighters? Or are you just launching it ahead of you?
Can I get equidistance between the 2 in front of us? I want to try to snag both of them.
Okay.
Because I don't think I can snag all 4.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
With a swift task, you can activate the EMP you built into it.
Oh, yeah, do that. Wait, so is the screaming already, the counter screaming active?
Yes, that it activated automatically. So now
Okay.
all the interference that was in the across the sensors communications is thinned out a lot because the probe is canceling it out.
What's the range of the EMP? How many hexes?
Close. It has to be next. It has to be adjacent to what it's firing off at. So I can hit those 2.
I take a little initiative, and this is what I hear.
So as you activate it, I'm going to ask you for a daring plus engineering difficulty of 2.
1 threat.
Okay.
Does EPS systems still apply?
In this case, yes. As it bursts out an EMP pulse, they both lose 3 shields and lose 1 power. No chance of a breach with this. It was just to see it just drains at their power in their shields. But they're not happy with how that happened. And it doesn't do more because some of the power is being used to maintain the interference, the canceling effect, rather than it just detonating as a torpedo equivalent or a mine. So these both been hit and lost some of their power. Oops, I should indicate differently. There. Turn at this point goes back to them.
So I was asking, was I able to get them to repair any of
Not yet. You'll be able to get some repairs done after the bad guys go.
Oh, okay.
Because now that they got their imposition fired off their thing, it'll probably be good for you to get some repairs to the Lethbridge done.
Okay.
One of the fighters turns and fires on the probe. Hits it. And and with its vicious disruptor banks, it's actually able to destroy the probe.
Well, at least that's one round is not firing on a left bridge, so.
We do appreciate it.
Turn goes back to you guys. I believe Thala wanted to do his thing.
Yep, let's let
How-
Thal do his thing.
How close are they to us?
Medium range. 4 of them are at medium range. 2 of them are at long.
We really should have saved our quick to action because we could have got him inside the ship this turn.
We don't
if
have
someone on the
quick.
ship.
We don't have quick to action.
That's not what I meant. I meant
Yeah, it's
Swift as.
no, the ability to keep the turn.
Oh, keep the initiative, yeah.
Yeah, you can only do that once. Yeah, there's no way we can get him in with till next turn.
So Thala, you wanted people to repair the shields?
How big
I
is
think that would-
Sydney though? Sydney's
Skill 4.
Yeah, there's.
Oh, I thought he was in a shuttle.
Nope. Sydney class as transport, so it's actually bigger than us.
No, it's
It's
not. Same size.
it's as big as you are.
So
So
skill
Thala,
4?
to do the thing you want to do, it'll be a presence. In this case, it can be presence engineering roll. Difficulty of 2. Alternatively, what you can do, and this is the thing they did on their end, because you're on a ship, each ship usually has an amount of crew support on it, equal to its scale. So this ship has, you can basically activate 4 other NPCs who can on that ship to help you. So if you, I'm asking you for a role that you don't think you can roll well, you could have an NPC be activated, and someone else on the ship tries to help you with it.
And what's the trade-off for that, or?
The trade-off is that most NPCs, especially ones generated on the fly like this, they don't have they're not nearly as good as a PC as a main character is, and
Right.
each ship can only support up to its scale in NPCs. So for both the Lethbridge and the Artemis, they each can only support up to 4 NPCs. After that, it's assumed that everyone else is too busy with other functions on the
Right.
ship that they can't be spared.
So you said what in engineering? Presence?
Presence engineering.
Okay. My presence is pretty good. My engineering is pretty good, so I don't think I necessarily need an NPC.
And it'll be difficulty 2.
All right. Nice.
Oops, that's not what I wanted to roll. Oop. Okay. Checking something. Okay. So they've gained 2 shields so far.
Okay.
For each additional momentum you spend, you can get another 2.
I'll spend 1.
Spend 1. Okay.
I guess that's it for me then.
Okay. You have 10 shields now. As you start instructing people to focus on the shields and get that fixed. Turn goes back to them. One of the other damaged fighters is going to take a shot at the Artemis, because it's the one that shot off that EMP pulse at them. They're not happy with that. Actually, no, he's going to take the shot from there. He would move closer, but he's lost some of his power. Without the low ray, that would have been bad. He fires his disruptor banks at you and misses. Goes back to you guys. I think the only one that hasn't acted is Tamira.
Well, there's not a whole lot I can really do, but I'm thinking we should probably activate Saru.
Yep, this is definitely Saru time.
Because even
do
if
we
I
wanna...
do scan for weakness on one of those shuttles, it's not gonna. I mean, or those fighters, I don't think it'll do much.
The weakness is it's a shuttle.
Yeah. Sucks. Firewall does not apply here. Trying to figure out to give something to him or not.
Yeah, the benefit of having like the main chip, the Artemis, there, Thala, is that when you have a supporting character, you keep using them session, they get a little bit better every time. They don't normally get as good as a main character, but they can become pretty decent.
Okay, I understand the concept.
So who is Mr. Sorrow taking a shot at?
I'm gonna say it's gonna be one of them, one of the fighters. Is there a specific target you want Saru to hit? Actually, I think I would up his security by 1.
Let's hit the southernmost one and try to pull our track upwards. Try to take out this guy and then and maneuver this away alongside the left bridge.
Okay. So it's difficulty 2, control security.
Yes.
I'm gonna use his determination. The lives of my shipmates are on me. I'm gonna try to get some momentum.
Termination works for me.
All right.
Oof.
Take 2 threat.
Sure.
Shipboard tactical systems for focus.
Yes.
Ugh. It does have bold security, so rerolling the complication.
Nice.
So it's 5 momentum. Need the ship's weapons security. Oh, it's a spread. Before I forget.
Oh, hitting the same target. Yeah, I get what you mean. Yeah.
Weapon security.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Well,
Can we reroll that?
No.
2 momentum to quash it.
We do have 2 floats. Let's squash it.
Yeah.
True. Roll your damage.
I'll roll it on this ship. Because it's not set right.
One day it'll be set right. one day. One, two, three, four, five.
I don't want to spend any momentum yet, but I want to take the versatile and pump both those into extra damage. So that's total 7. Subtract their scale.
Okay. Oh.
So that be that guy that we were targeting. And then
7. Okay.
half that, which is 4 damage, counting the effects here.
And it explodes.
Alright, spending 2 momentum to keep to do a swift task. Which difficulty goes up by 1.
Right.
Are these two guys kind of like disabled right now?
They've acted and they've had some of their power shields brought down.
Okay.
But otherwise, they're acting normally. They just have lower shields and lower power.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So,
Pick up from the bottom.
but okay. I'm not going to shoot, but instead I'm going to modulate the shields.
So Sara's gonna modulate the shields then?
Yeah.
What does modulate shields do?
Give us more resistance.
Canopy? Okay.
Gives you more resistance until you actually take damage, then it resets.
Yeah, it's control security. Difficulty base is 2, so it'll be a difficulty 3. So we're down to 4 momentum.
Yep.
Take a threat. Shipboard tactical systems for a focus.
Yes. Yes.
I'm gonna keep. So take an additional 2 threat to roll 4. Re-rolling the 0. And then the ship needs to roll structure engineering. Oh my god.
Really? Okay, someone else take the Artemis. I'm not rolling for it anymore.
Okay, so we gained 3 momentum out of that, so spending the 2 to squash that. So down to 1 out of what was gained. We were at 4.
Yep. So you're up to 5 now.
I'm gonna say we spend 3 momentum to have a total of plus 4 resistance, so it makes us a resistance on the ship at 8.
Go for it.
How much momentum again?
A total of 3. So it
1,
should
2, 3.
yeah.
And your temporary resistance is up to what again?
8.
8.
And then that's it for Saru. The reason why I did that is thinking because there's a lot of ships here, so
Yep, that's a good idea.
did you use your direct yet?
I have not used my direct yet.
You can direct Saru to fire again.
I was actually thinking about trying to do feint, pull back a little bit and see if we can and get the fighters closer together, and then we can do a spread. Or
area.
Yeah, do an area.
Spending 10 threat and pushing you all into the next scene. As the battle will drag on, Bridge and the Artemis are able to help each other out. Because you got to Lethbridge rather quickly, and you seem to be doing a rather good job of battling with them. It's just a matter of pushing them away now. But eventually, you're able to fight off the fighters and destroy or disable all of them.
Any survivals, or do they all go boom?
They all go boom. Either because most of them probably because they just take so much damage. They just explode. This occurs over the course of not very long. In game, it doesn't take very long. Out of game, it would take quite a while. That's why I'm moving us to the next scene.
Okay.
But you do. I'm willing to assume and concede that you'll destroy all of them in this configuration. They won't be able to get to the left bridge the way you guys are set up right now. They'll be focus firing on you, and with that resistance, they're not.
It's the whole point. So they don't. So we don't get breaches.
Speaking of, does our temporary structure breach press go away now that we went through a combat?
Yeah, it goes away until as you're in a new scene now. Actually, your momentum went down by one.
But
That only,
no,
that only lasts for
I
the end
had-
of scene.
No, I had Magnus is do a patch on our structure breach on deck 10, but that was good for like one combat.
Oh yeah, that would be gone too. Yeah.
Okay, and now we absolutely can't fix that until we get back to space dock.
Yeah.
All right, Artemis, hail the left bridge.
Left bridge here.
How are you doing over there?
Fairly well, thanks to you and our Lieutenant Thala here.
Oh, is that the security chief transfer?
Yes, indeed.
Excellent. Good to see that you can hold up against the Scream at the Reach using a Sydney class. Kind of interested to see what you could do with an actual patrol ship.
As am I.
Do you think you can make it back to Andon's landing from here?
We should be good from here. We didn't take a lot of damage. Mainly to the shields. Lethbridge is a pretty tough bird.
That's good to hear. We're gonna fly alongside you for the next couple hours just to make sure no one harasses you, and we'll reconvene then.
Very well.
We'll just match your course and speed.
Yeah, we'll come alongside in transport range and beam over your new chief of security. He has
Excellent.
orders with him, so but everyone else is going to the planet or the station.
All right, I'll meet him in the transporter room, and I'll tell Khan to the match course and speed with the left bridge. Keep us within, basically within medium to long range of them, and at warp speed.
Oops, you guys aren't there. I can get with me, you guys bigger. Ooh, not that big. Is anyone else going down to meet Lieutenant Thala at the transporter room aboard the Artemis?
Is that computer on board yet? Oh, yeah, because we left that system. So the computer that we found is on board?
It is not on board, or we couldn't beam it up without risking any damage to it.
Yeah, it's currently hidden behind a holographic and sensor baffling systems that Tamira put up.
and it's unfortunately 14 hours or that away, so you don't have a project at the moment, unfortunately.
Well, not that
Unless-
project anyway.
Not that
Yeah,
one.
I'll go work on my other project because projects are more important than people.
Unless I can order you to regen some power in our systems, or however that would work.
Scene change, so power got reset.
Oh, scene change resets everything.
Yep.
Yeah. except
Okay.
for breaches.
Except for breaches. Okay, never mind. You're free to tinker with your toys.
So Magnus is off somewhere else.
Did you hear what he just called you, Tamira?
Did not hear that part because I was typing. Do I want to know?
I said I was gonna go work on the project that I have on board, and he said, "Oh, I'll let you go tinker with your toys."
Tamira, are you going to the transport room as well, or are you attending to other matters of the ship?
I'm sure
Or
I
helping
have...
Magnus tinker?
No, I think the first officer of the ship would be on the bridge.
Okay, so you're up on the bridge. So, Lieutenant Thala, you beam aboard the Artemis, and Commander Ray is there to meet you.
Greetings, Lieutenant. I'm Commander Leandris Ray of the Starship Artemis. Pleasure to have you aboard.
Pleased to meet you, Commander. So it seems these pirates are a threat in these areas.
They seem to have gotten more bold over the past couple months.
Well, I'm sure you'll fill me in.
Yes, we will. So, just out of curiosity, because as Ray would definitely cue in on this, any outstanding emotions and any distress, is there anything that Thala's is trying to hide, or is this just business as normal?
Nothing he's trying to hide. I mean, I'm sure he's excited and anxious and that kind of thing to be here. Oh,
Okay.
you're asking the person running the game. I'm sorry.
Well, either or. Or since it's a player character, or you can kind of answer to, unless you're attempting to hide something, then I would have to roll for it. But so, is this your first deep space?
Well, you can. If it looks like the GM said, proceed with something on that front.
Well,
Yep.
picking up on that, I'll try making small talk. So, is this your first deep space posting, Lieutenant?
Yes.
Did you choose this posting, or did Starfleet hand it to you?
I was assigned here.
All right. Well,
Apparently,
hopefully,
there's more information that I'll be privy to now that I'm aboard. So, some of it, or perhaps all of it, was too classified to be transmitted in other
yes.
means.
Well, I'll let you, get settled into your quarters, and we'll have a senior staff meeting within the hour.
Aye.
And I'll brief you on all the goings on in and on sector.
Yes, sir.
Dismissed.
I salute and am dismissed.
What does Thala get up to? Hour.
What do I do for the next hour?
Yeah.
Well, the way I want them, I guess I don't have too much. What
And
else is there to do other than maybe just take a look around, explore, get a? Have I already before I came here, was I already given like schematics or maps or anything, or do I just have access to them now that I'm here?
You would have been given the specs for the Artemis by now.
So
And
I already have a good idea of the layout.
Yeah.
Yep, and a yeoman would like direct you to your quarters.
Well, sure, I understand. But after all that's done, I don't need to study them if I know the layout, but maybe just go and check some of it out in person. Just walk around the ship, checking out different areas, of interest, or just to have a chance to stretch my legs and walk around and check things out.
Looking around the ship, the ship is mainly designed, and even from the specs, it confirms this, that this ship is designed to be more of a pathfinder or reconnaissance type ship. It's not really a warship by any means, like the Defiant would be, which makes sense for a ship this far out, meant to patrol an area. A lot of the talents that the ship has, a lot of its special abilities, are about its warp drive, better power systems. It has laboratories that can be changed as needed from mission to mission. Very high resolution sensors. The most well staffed departments aboard are the pilots and the scientists, followed by the engineers. There is some security staff aboard, but not a ton. Again, because there's not as much needed on a ship this big. However, they do need a senior officer to direct it, and someone needs to keep this thing from being shot at. You're actually briefed by your assistant, Ensign Saru Trek, Bajoran, who's helped the Artemis out as best he can. He's pretty good. He's more of a martial arts hand phaser guy on the ground kind of guy. Not a ship tactical officer. And he's glad to have someone more experienced than him.
Well, all right. Sounds like. Because I've got some hand-to-hand ability too.
I think, yeah, you only have one support character created. There's only one security character created. That was their. Saru was their. There's whenever security thing came up, it was him. For since the last security character was retired, we'll say.
Red-shirted.
No, he went into a quiet retirement out in the mountains somewhere as he realized
Okay.
he found something out about himself he didn't like.
If you
Okay.
look over the recordings, you'll find it was Ray that was red-shirted.
Uh,
Don't worry, he got better. It was just a shot in the face.
Let's do the time warp.
Time warp that a certain Vulcan had to perform twice.
But yeah, we'll debrief you on all that shenanigans.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anything in particular you want to learn about the ship, or anything you're? Oh, one thing I should point out. As a security guy, you would also know that the Artemis is equipped with a variety of shuttles. So some are just transport shuttles. Some of them are fully equipped, like photon torpedoes and phasers. But they don't have an extensive shuttle base. So they have some shuttles, but they have a couple just in case they need extra firepower without the whole Artemis opening up. Because the Artemis isn't quite as big as, say, the Enterprise in Next Gen. It's actually a little bit smaller. But shuttle, sometimes you don't need a phaser quite that powerful.
all right.
Yeah.
So you said the labs are kind of interchangeable for whatever they're doing at the moment?
Yep. The ship has modular laboratories, multi-purpose compartments that can be converted into laboratories as required.
What are they focusing on right now?
Good question. What are they focusing on right now, Mr. Magnus?
My android research.
Ooh.
He seems to be working on creating android bodies, like Sung-type android bodies.
We also have one lab, and that's astromatics configuration, trying to work off the data we got from the planet with, all these gates all over the galaxy. Well, let's map those out.
Hmm.
Or at least have one team working on that.
Those are both pretty interesting. Would I know anything about androids? Would I have heard of Soong or any of his creations?
Yeah, that's
I would
pretty.
think Data's pretty famous across everywhere.
Oh yeah.
So, and I'm asking Dr. Magnus this. I say, so Dr. Magnus, are you working from any original notes, or uh, how are you even able to attempt to replicate that technology?
Noticing that someone's just stumbled into my lab, I turn
I thought
around.
we'd already been discussing. I'm sorry. I thought we were already discussing it when you were explaining what you were working on. I apologize.
Oh, it's fine, and you can still show up, but I'll turn around and say like, hold up, and I'll start scanning him. Just be careful. Don't move too much.
I'm standing perfectly still.
You seem to be fine. And
Oh.
he'll dig around in a bag, and he'll take out what looks to be like a bunch of circuit boards and wires attached to a tricorder. Here, from my scans, you could probably use this.
Okay.
It can boil tea at a distance. You look like you could use some tea. Not much good for anything else, though.
Well, that's intriguing. And I apologize for the sudden intrusion. I'm usually more polite than that. I'm rather excited to be on the ship.
Yeah, I've been meaning to look at the air filtration system. It can, you can get some of the things I found in there could definitely make someone feel excited.
You need the air filtration fixed? I have some repair skill.
Sure, you should do that.
How long would it take? I only have perhaps another 45 minutes.
It shouldn't take that long.
Okay. Well, whatever I have to roll, I'll attempt to work on his air filtration system.
What are you getting the poor lieutenant to do, Doctor?
So I was just joking that there's something that might be in the air that could make you feel excited.
Oh, I didn't. Okay, I didn't even get that. I heard you say so. I thought you were talking about something you needed one of your things you were working on. I'm sorry.
If your character believed it, your character believed it. So you should just roll with it.
Yeah, I mean, I can act like it was intentional, and that's what my character misunderstood. That's fine.
Don't worry, most people do with Magnus.
I could see it though. It works for the character. It's like, sure, I'm going to I'll look at that as soon as possible.
And actually, give me in a reason plus engineering difficulty of 0. You can use the repair focus since you were told something's wrong, so you look to see if anything's wrong. You gain 3 momentum as you inspect with the air filtration system. You double check it just to be sure. You can check the manuals, the manual trips and all that. And I mean, it needs another site. Everything seems to be working perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with the air filtration system. It's like this thing has only been out of space dock for no more than a couple weeks.
I see nothing amiss about the system, Dr. Magnus. It all seems nominal.
That's weird. And here I thought it was so awkward, having. I felt like people were coming into the lab all giddy. Maybe they were just impressed by my work.
Very well possible. Well, it was a pleasure to meet you. I believe I will continue along.
Yeah, and you ever need another brain, stop by.
Another brain.
Oh, just a little joke. I seem to have a couple of them laying around.
I picked up on that one. I just leave at that point.
As the mad scientist continues to thing, and from the notes you had about the crew of the ship, Dr. Magnus is from the Starfleet Corps of Engineers. They're not just guys who make the ship go faster. They're the guys who invent those weird new things that Starfleet uses. So they tend
Magnus
to be
makes things go. Oh, I'm sorry.
yeah. But yeah. Is there anything touching base with Tamira and Ray? Is there anything you guys are doing before the meeting?
No, basically, me, I would just check in on all departments, make sure that everything's running in ship shape, that we're making repairs, and keep an eye out for any other stream activity in the region, and any science projects that are going on, including poking my head into Magnus.
You would find out that the lab idea you wanted to do to have multiple, and the modular laboratories, they can be fit. They're usually focused on one thing or another. So if you wanted them to repurpose it into an astrometric specialty laboratories, you would need to start pulling down the Android research stuff.
Okay.
Although mechanically speaking, you can only have one of them. You can only be benefiting from only one of the projects can be benefiting from the lab in any given mission or session.
Okay.
Just explain
well,
mechanically what I'm saying.
Okay, so I only have one slot for modular labs.
Yeah, it's assumed that the other ones are being used, but they can't. To get the benefit, you have to use a lot of lab space to get the benefits from it.
Okay, well, I would just have a team in working on the astrometrics data we got from that weird console.
You can either spend 2 momentum, or you can roll presence plus command difficulty 2 to have the appropriate people set up to get that done in a timely manner.
Focus in cultural studies. No.
I will have to say no to that one. Team
Yeah.
dynamics would be the one I'm looking for here.
Composure.
Add complication.
Yeah, not worth it. Yeah, just roll.
Yep.
And again,
Okay.
that one anyways.
So you have some people. You get the appropriate people working on it. Tamira, anything in particular you want to work? Your character wants to work for the meeting.
Not that I can think of right now.
And Magnus.
My Android stuff.
Do we have a running extended task going on for that yet, or no?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
You might have to look back through the notes for it.
Yep, there it is. You're at 7 of 25 work. You have 2 breakthroughs of 5. The difficulty is 3, resistance of 2. And it's a control engineering at this point, I believe.
Start off. Let's say 3 threat.
Okay.
3 into practice won't help because that's permission. I think it has to be this mission, doesn't it?
Yeah. You had to have done it earlier in the mission.
Lab rat should help here to look at. I think it allows me to benefit from progression 1, but I don't remember what stat I have to use.
Oh, you have to be working out of a laboratory.
Oh,
Is the catch.
okay.
And it has to be an engineering or science thing or something like that. I think it's the other
Okay.
caveat, which, you know, it's usually what you're in the lab for.
Oh, and I don't think I have a focus.
So you gained at least 1 momentum. So give me 7 challenge dice.
So that's 10.
1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Minus the 2 resistance, you're at 8 work currently. Plus the 7.
I'm at 2 more breakthroughs because I have Miracle Worker. I get the one from 5 and the one from Miracle Worker.
Lab rat
That's
give you
4.
progressive 1 per effect.
No, Lab rat gives progressive 1. Miracle Worker gives a breakthrough if you get a breakthrough while
That's
using engineering.
what I said was, doesn't lab rat give you progressive 1 per effect rolled?
Yeah, so that's
Mm.
why I said it was 10.
Yep. So
Progressive 1 is basically a vicious 1.
yeah, it's just that there's 2 resistance, so that's why it's 8 work. So 8 and 7, 15 of 25.
Oh, and
work.
having the labs configured does something too.
Brings down difficulty by 1, so you actually gain another momentum. Or brings down the complication range. It's an advantage, and there's no increased complication. And that gets you. You're at 2 breakthroughs. You're at 3, 4 of 5 breakthroughs.
Oh, I thought there were only 4. I thought I was finished. Oh, shit.
And the difficulty is now down to 1. But you were able to get a lot of work done, but the meeting's coming. You're almost there. And the only way you'd be able to get another breakthrough is if you got from 15 work to 25. And I don't think you can do that with in this one roll.
No, because the only way it would happen, I need 10. If I could get 4 from re-rolling the 2 dice, and I got piercing, that's 2 momentum would give me 6, and then I could spend the other 4 on work, and that would.
Do you want to spend to reroll the fails and hope for the best?
I'll do that because if it actually does work out, because I got a 1 in 6, or I got a 50% chance on each dice of it coming up 2. I think it's not that bad of an idea. It's a long shot, but I think we'll try because there's only 1 momentum to. Because if I don't spend the 1, then I don't need to spend the other 5.
Give me 2 challenge dice.
Oh, man.
That's 17 of 25 work. I think it's the end of the progress for that task. And we'll move into the briefing room.
Thank you, everyone, and for coming. I'd like to introduce you to Lieutenant Thala. He's going to be our new security officer here on the Artemis. And Commander Artemis, can you brief Thala on this strange phenomena we found found in this sector so far. I believe that's more your purview.
Lieutenant Commander?
Of course, Captain. The anomaly found at Andon's Landing is well, it's a space-time phenomenon, other known as would like to refer to as the Gateway, created by a unknown advanced alien species that we know little about. There appears, from what we can tell, around 135 gateways spread across the galaxy, and approximately 3 in our nearby cluster. There are also several other control stations that we found. A small Class L planetoid nearby that we were able to access and so far secure from the inhabitants and other parties. Currently, it is advised that no individual shall approach the gateway unless they have been properly mentally disciplined. The effects of the gateway are reality altering that can have grave consequences.
What do you mean by reality altering?
Meaning, this reality that you're experiencing now could no longer exist in the way that you see it. I have myself has experienced 3 other alternate realities as a result of tampering.
Understood.
Which makes things a little more complicated since we have a unregistered or unaffiliated third party known as the Scream of the Reach, each poking their noses around the sector, and apparently they have taken an interest, yes, in one of the alien artifacts, which means that security for this sector has become that much more paramount.
Captain, just so you're aware, the security reporting that these pirates may have access to one of the gateways, or potential access. The console we found gave the location of 3 of them. One is on the Tholian homeworld. The other one is in currently unclaimed space, but near the pirate activity, potentially their base of operations.
Oh, okay. That is something noted. Was there any indication from the console whether or not any other gateways have been activated?
All the gateways remain active, from what I can tell, indefinitely. There is no turning them off, or known way to turn them off currently. Further study is required.
Do you think we should return to Komatsu and initiate a more thorough investigation, or would it be more prudent to head off the Scream and secure this other gateway? In your professional opinion.
Both might be applicable in this scenario, Captain. The team investigating the console and trying to learn as much information as we can from the consoles, as much information as we can learn from them, especially about the alien race that created these structures, might give us an edge. Potentially trying to secure the pirate activity might help slow down their activities, or could potentially cause them to accelerate their plans. They have
And-
taken an interest from what we can tell so far since they were active at this one console.
True. As far as Starfleet regulations go, technically that is outside of Federation space, but I'm still totally allowed to go out there. Or is there legal connuptions, Mr. GM, sir?
Give me reason con, difficulty 1.
Focus in interstellar law.
Yes.
Screw it. I'll buy a dice with momentum. Totally didn't need it.
So you're maxed out and you get you have one float momentum. When it comes to wow, brain fart there. So if they were in someone else's claimed space, then there might be an issue of jurisdiction. If they're an unclaimed or open space, then it's the law of open space, as it were. As far as the Starfleet regulations are concerned, normally Starfleet doesn't like interfering with affairs outside of their borders unless there's a proven connection that the Federation is at risk if you don't move out to do something about it.
So this would definitely fall all under that regulation.
Yes, it is. It would be legal for you to deal. Now, whether or not you could arrest them isn't really a thing because if they're not Federation citizens, then you don't have authority to arrest them. But you could get them to stop at under the rules of open space, as it were. Who has the biggest phaser diplomacy?
Well, we
Or
seem
just
to be
common
effective
sense.
at that.
Yeah. I do have one float. Do you want to ask an additional question related to that question?
Additional question related to that. Given the current situation, could it be possible that I could pull Starfleet and to get an additional vessel out here? Or
Yes, the closest one you'd probably get, the one they'd probably give you is the Lethbridge, because all the other ships, from what you heard in briefings before, are busy with reconstruction efforts, pacification efforts in Cardassian space, all that sort of thing. The Lethbridge is a ship that's already here, and it could be redirected to be under your jurisdiction to assist with this. If you wanted a bigger ship to help you, or a different ship, you'll have to wait a while, probably somewhere between 3 to 6 months, if not a year, before someone gets out here. Unless there was an obvious they're going to attack and it's landing, then they might send something. They might rush it. But because it's not imminent, as far as Starfleet's concerned,
they would have to reassign a ship, not just rush a ship out here.
Yeah.
And have to go through the paper. Okay, so that's not even worth consideration. Well, it seems we have two. We seem to have two interesting things going on Rimward, or down south. We have the alien console that we need to study, figure out its origins and how to control it, and we also have the cultural listening post in the commencement system that we still have our personnel. So for the time being, we're gonna redirect our course back to the commencement system, drop off the listening post personnel, and continue study on the alien console for the time being. The Lethbridge which will continue making a way to Andon's Landing. How much time on the would it take for the left bridge to rendezvous with Andon?
Let me see. Let me do.
I mean, they're comfortable cruising speed.
At most a day. If they go super slow, 2 days. Well, not super slow, but if they go really comfortable. But if they just keep it at a good pace, they'll get there in a day.
Okay.
They can't go down pedal to the metal like you did. If they do that, they'll melt their engine.
Which we very nearly did.
If you didn't have an improved warp drive, you would have been power starved. But yeah, they can get there inside of a day.
Okay, that's not too bad. So, what do you guys what do you say about us returning to the Komatsu system and taking a 2 to 3 days is to study the console? Oh, do you think that would be sufficient?
Magnus is totally down to do all that.
Tamara, Thala, your thoughts?
I'm just security. I have.
The time should work out, Captain. If we need more, we will. I should say, discover that.
Okay, then. I'm also call it a hunch, but I think that the peculiar Air Society of Komatsu might have been influenced by whoever placed that console there, and I'm curious, I guess, about who placed it there and what effect that had on the natives of the planet. All right. Is there anything else that people want to bring up at this point?
Sounds like a no to me.
If not, we are dismissed. I'll make my way into the bridge, hail the left bridge.
Let's cheer. Go ahead.
And we're gonna track our way back to the Komatsu system, and you should be clear air to make way to Andon's Landing.
I believe so too, Commander. We have our shields are regenerated now, and everything seems to be fine. Do you have any particular orders for the people we're putting over? Since you're going a different direction, I can pass it along to your men.
Uh, keep sensors on the border. Keep an eye out for any Scream of the Reach activity, and just log it for now.
All right, I'll be sure to pass it along. Oh, and one other thing. It seems that the Romulans have sent along are sending along a delegation to the to Andon's Landing to join in the scientific efforts. They're not aboard my transport, but I hear that they're going to be sending out another one with a senator, no less. So that's going to be fun.
That is gonna be very fun.
Mm.
Make sure that the besides the sensor ops, make sure that the ground side science teams aims are doing environmental and geological studies.
I'll be sure to pass it along.
Artemis out.
Does anyone else say anything else at the meeting, or do people start filing out?
Yeah, I'll leave.
Oh, as we're leaving, I'll pass Thala and say, "Oh, did you find the source of excitement? Did you have a chance to look again?"
Yes, I believe it was a need for tea.
Lack of tea causing excitement. This requires study.
What'll give you an excuse to perfect your master? You can call it the tea.
Sorry, you broke up a little bit.
You can call it the tea. It's your tea heating and
That's not a bad name. Well, I'm off to work on the tee too.
good luck.
Tamira, do you nerve punch anybody on the way out, or just head on to your duties?
Head on to the duties, getting prepared for
Oh.
a planetary expedition. Essentially.
This is actually vital research because I have Vulcans that I have to deal with.
Oh, between Andon's Landing and the Artemis, do we have any shuttlecraft that we can spare for the listening post? Does it have a dock or anything?
It has a minor dock. It can dock shuttles. That's all it can dock, really. It has it's not so much a shuttle bay. It's a dock for shuttle. Listening posts are tiny.
Okay. I'm thinking about requisitioning them at least a shuttle so that way they can continue doing research on the
Whoa.
Compensum console
Okay.
and other planetary area excursions. Do I have the authority to do that? Like, here,
It's your
here, have
ships.
a shuttle.
They're your shuttles. You'll probably get a new one sent out to Andon's Landing, or one of the other shuttles off the station might be cycled in. And at some point, the listening post will probably get a new one anyway, and then give you back yours.
Okay. And I don't quite remember the difference between Type 7 and Type 9. Let me look at these.
Shuttle? 7 is unarmed, 9 is armed. There's a little more difference than that, but that's one of the basic differences.
And the 7's cool thing is that they have extra. They're usually well supplied. There's a lot of gear on it, but they have an unstable warp field. So if you want them to go long distance, they actually have any task involving warp is increased by difficulty of 1. So Type 7s are great if you never intend to go to or shoot at anything.
Well, in theory, they don't need to go to warp or shoot at anything.
That's what you're for, or Deep Space T1. Either way.
Yep, that's what we're here for, and yeah, because they're within impulse range of the planet. I'm assuming.
Oh yeah. They're in the same system.
Okay.
Think of them if they were close to Earth, they're like out at like Saturn or Uranus or something like that.
All right. Yeah, let's give them a Type 7 out of our shuttle bay, with the intention that they keep, shuttling back and forth and continuing our research on the on Komatsu after we're gone.
All right. So you get back to the Zemutsa system with Lethbridge heading back its way.
How long did it take us?
Are you asking to see if you have another roll?
Yeah, I am.
You have enough time for another roll, yeah.
Make that real quick. One threat.
Sure.
If I can find my sheet. Oh, there we go. Rerolling 0. Okay.
Gained the new scene momentum you lost back. Give me 7 challenge dice. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 5. That'll get you 5 breakthroughs there.
Oh yeah, then yeah, we don't need to worry about work because miracle work will kick in.
Yeah, by the time you get back to the Zamutsu system, a android shell design. I wouldn't say perfected. That seems a bit of a strong word, but you have a working prototype, if nothing else.
Can I test it out by sending it to look for by placing the brain that so there's 3 brains. There's the one that is Tamira if nothing ever happened, Tamira if both things happened, and Tamira if the thing happened. I'll send Tamira if nothing ever happened to go find Tamira with the body.
Question: is the body like? Does it look exactly like Tamira?
It should just be a brain and an exoskeleton. Like it shouldn't have any like physical appearance. I don't think, does it?
It would have like a very basic shell.
Yeah, I'm thinking less android right now and more robot. Because the way you said it's kind of rough, I was thinking the cosmetic work wasn't there.
Sort of like not that exactly, but kind of featureless and a robot that just kind of.
Yeah, I sent it to go look for Tamira.
Give me just roll for me 5 challenge dice.
Wait. That sounds like something you would do if damage was being caused.
You're not. It's to see how good your programming line was. See if it has any glitches on the way there. If you get at least some effects, it'll get there. Yeah. So the consciousness has struggles a bit with the new body, because it's not a biological body; it's an android one. But because it was designed well enough and there wasn't a whole lot of complications on the way, yeah, Tamira, a featureless android, walks up to you.
Quirks the eyebrow.
It does not. It doesn't have one. I was asked to find you.
Oh. I see he completed the body.
It is a work in progress, I believe is what he said.
Most astute. Very well, I shall accompany you.
That would be most helpful.
And the Tamiras, I guess, walk towards the lab. Oh boy.
Two Tamiras walk into a lab.
None come out.
Oh, Commander, you seem to have found the commander.
It would seem the sensing data needs some adjustment. I was disoriented a couple of times finding myself.
Oh, that's just they were fixing the air filters. Probably got some grime in there somewhere.
The robot turns to you, Tamara. Turns and looks back at Magnus.
Perhaps the structural design is flawed. Perhaps you shall endeavor to make the body more similar to my own in appearance.
And Tamara, give me a fitness plus medicine roll. This isn't for you, it's for the other one.
Dear God.
I'm confused.
Survival?
52.
No.
And heck, why not? I have it here. Let's bring the complication up to 3. Survival? Yes, that applies given what I'm doing.
Spending 3 momentum.
Wow, so greedy.
Yep. Of course. Of course. It's just gonna stand.
Tamira, would you roll for me? Well, you wouldn't be able to do it. Give me a daring plus security roll. You're being opposed by Dr. Madness as other you loses her mind and attacks Magnus.
Vulcan martial arts. Oh wait. I can't use my mount. Or I can't use. Can I use nerve pinch?
It can't.
What do you mean it can't
Oh,
use nerve
androids
pinch?
can actually. Yeah, it
Data
can. It'll
did.
Vulcan nerf. Yeah, no, I'm wrong. You're right.
I'm sorry,
Oh.
doctor.
This is the one that hadn't experienced any like gate trauma, so that's not a good sign.
Ooh, take a breath.
Sure.
Oh God. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna need daring security from you, Doctor. As Tamira Bot is coming up to you and starts grabbing at your neck.
Can I argue that I'm gonna try to go for a disabling button, or as an engineering roll?
If you're willing to spend 2 momentum, or spend determination, you could probably activate. You can create an advantage that you have a data-like off switch that you're trying to reach for. You still
I'll
have to
do-
roll to hit it, but at least it's not a daring security roll. It'll be a daring engineer.
I'll do that.
So you're gonna give me momentum, or you're gonna spend determination to create that advantage?
Moment.
Give me momentum. Spend momentum. What am I talking about?
And then I'll give you one threat.
I'm gonna spend 1, and the one you gave me increase complication to 2 for you, as you're trying to hit the button while being attacked.
Rerolling from bold. Okay. Oh, was
okay.
I trying to beat the 2?
Yep, the three twos.
Oh, I did not realize that. That was a really bad roll. I thought he was gonna roll again. That was bad on my part.
Yeah. Yeah.
Seeing this as the regular Tamira, I'm gonna roll damage here, but can I spend my determination to get in the way? And
Sure.
to-
Under what value?
Emotion in crisis only makes things worse. And now is not the time
yes.
to panic. Okay. But essentially, the regular Tamira is going to take the nerve pinch.
Okay.
Said
Works
the
for me.
doctor.
I'm gonna spend 1 threat to reroll the fails.
Oh, you're gonna reroll the fails for me. Okay. Okay. See how it is. See how it is. You want me to roll, or are you gonna roll?
I'll roll it. I will make you punch yourself.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Well,
actually no.
that's 5.
With intense, no less.
Yes. So it's take 4 momentum to stay up. Or 4 threat. You know what? Take 4 threat.
Okay. So you get a very, oh my god, painful nerve pinch, but you're powering through it. Ow. And when the robot body moves around, it stops moving with some the gait and characteristics of Tamira, and is a lot more jerky and a lot more um, robotic, for lack of a better word, a lot more unnatural. And Magnus, I'll give you a reactionary insight engineering difficulty of 2 if you want to roll it to have a quick insight on what's going on here.
Yes, I would like to stand on the side and ponder while the commander is being pinched to death. Does reverse engineering help?
Uh, not
Computers?
really. Computers, yes,
1 threat.
sure.
Is my testing a theory or theory into practice going to help here?
Difficulty was going to be, what did I say?
2.
2, so it'll be put down to 1, and you get a free die out of it.
So that would be 2 threat. That would be 1
Yes.
more threat for the dice I did buy.
Okay.
Reroll 0. There we go.
So 3, 4 threat. Momentum.
It's like, that's a lot of threat.
You don't. You don't. It doesn't take up a task. You just kind of, having witnessed what just happened, and you weren't dropped right away. You have a second to kind of think about what happened. What's occurring here is the process known as alienation. It happens when consciousnesses are moved from their body into one that doesn't match their original one, and sometimes, in rare cases, the mind can have a psychotic break. And when in a mental crisis like that, sometimes people shut off, sometimes the robot shuts off, it destroys itself, or it lashes out. In this case, it decided to lash out. So it's not particularly angry at you in particular, it just decided to attack somebody as if that was going to help its problems. And given a Vulcan mind, this is doesn't matter what kind of mind it is. Putting a brain into a new body is a tricky task. That's why you're spending so much time making sure the frame was built properly. Because a good frame is what prevents alienation from happening in cyborgs. But it does go to you, because that was other Tamira acting in combat and attacking, and you both just kind of reacted to them.
So, does the doctor tell me where the off switch is?
Yeah, I can yell that.
Yeah. So you yell out where the off switch is.
Okay, I'm going to go for the off switch. I'm assuming this is opposed daring.
Opposed daring. Daring plus engineering for you. Daring plus science for them.
Okay. I'm rolling flat. Vulcan martial arts or survival for.
I think it applies both sides, yeah.
Okay.
Because you're trying to break through your own defensive stance.
There's the first one. And here's the second.
Yep, you're able to go through, and because roll for me 5 challenge dice. You need at least one effect. Yep. You hit the button and you shut off.
Most intriguing. Doctor, there seems to be a problem with my alternate's mind.
This is not good.
Please elaborate.
You're gonna need therapy, I think.
Can I make a reason medicine roll? Or insight? I would prefer
I'll
reason,
gi-
but
I'd give you insight medicine.
I don't have a focus for this. Difficulty?
Difficulty 1 now that you're not having a rogue cyborg attacking you.
I'll spend a momentum.
Sure. Whoops, new.
Get
There
it
you go.
back. And then some. What can I induce by the behavior of my android counterpart?
It's probably lacking. It has all the rage and emotional capacity of you without the Vulcan physiology and biology to assist it. Now there are ways to calm oneself, but going through a drastic change into a cyborg body, it's a bit of a shift. It requires a different thought process, a different technique to calm oneself and be at peace with the new body, or just have a better body.
Perhaps we shall design a different body, Doctor, and I will assist you on this.
I have read some recent musings on biomechanical interfaces. We could maybe we could make a copy of your body and give it a brain, give it the positronic brain as one would give a person missing an arm a prosthetic. A prosthetic brain for a lifeless body. I think we could do that.
Perhaps a half and half.
Oh no, I had coffee an hour ago.
No, Doctor, you misunderstand. I'm referring to half biological, half machine. The outer layers be biological, creating artificial pigments and skins, um, whereas the internal structure would be android in nature. The mere illusion of being oneself should suffice in this case.
We do have a near unlimited amount of time while they're in stasis. Why don't we work on the first, building up the first one, this pseudo physique? And that may give us insights on how to build a true physique for the remaining two, and possibly a replacement for the first.
Agreed.
And I imagine the two of you get to work on solving that particular wrinkle android plan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think with that we will end the episode. And we'll pick up a little bit in between.